Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. I think I know all of you. All right. I want to welcome you all to our workshop meeting here. And the first thing is, I'm not sure if there's a sign up.
There is, and there is nobody on it. Oh, wait, one person. I'm sorry. Kristen is on it.
Paul, I am Mike Baum.
Deb Doherty, Diana Klein,
All present here. I was asking. Okay, I make a motion to open public comment period number 1. Do I have a second? Do you have a discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So be it.
You're up.
Well, this is really just a follow-up question. I remember several months ago, there was discussion of a plot of land that the town owned.
Say it again.
A plot of land that the town owned. It was on the side street off of Zanda, I think, or in that area of town. And I just wondered, and the discussion was, maybe it
Yeah,
was,
it's out.
maybe that's, yeah. that-
Altamont
that's on
property.
Altamont. And I just wondered if the discussion was about it being sold. And I just wondered if it had actually been sold, or what was.
It's still town property. It hasn't been sold. The potential buyer, being careful with the price that he asked. So, still have it.
Well, and in light of the discussions about housing, maybe that would be an opportunity for the town to partner with, some local organizations like REPCO or instant land trust is not great.
Yeah, it's supposedly buildable, but it's not buildable. It's buildable on paper. But there's a right of way, there's a water pipes around it, a huge well there. They have 250-foot railings. So if you start building on 209, maybe it almost can't be.
There are also deed restrictions as well, so it's limited to a single family residence.
right on top of the Hurley water. He's got the pump right next to it. So we've got all that apparatus and everything.
So it's like a well storage thing?
Yeah.
Situation.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Good evening, my name is Sherry Pettis, and I live with my adult son Ryan in the town of Old Hurley. And I just wanted to thank you for inviting Ty, their former community this evening. I'm here to put a face to the Ulster County Housing Smart Communities Initiative. Part of the housing initiative is to promote the development of accessory dwelling units or ADUs. I'd like to build a garage with a small studio apartment above the garage for my son. We live together in a very small house. Giving my son his own apartment on my property would grant him independence, and it would allow him to help me as I age in place. The Hurley survey results from 2024 showed that zoning and land use was the highest priority in shaping future policy for Hurley. The Ulster County Housing Smart Communities Initiative would support our town in helping us create zoning laws for ADUs. It would also lessen the need for residents like myself to go to the planning board for smaller matters if we already had these zoning laws in place. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? All right, it is now 6:05. At 6:05, I make a motion to close the public comment number 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have it by the third. All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, the first thing is, the minutes from, February 25th is not available. Our town clerk is recouping from, surgery. We will have both the minutes for this meeting and meeting on the 25th of February at the next town board meeting. We'll do that. Town clerk's report,
Can give you that.
Was it February 11th?
it's there. Everything is it,
Right, are we gonna approve them or?
I'm sorry, you're right. I think you did that last time, didn't you?
This is the agenda. Yes, you can take a copy of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're caught up except for the 25th.
Maybe she sent it.
You want us to, we can approve it again, but, okay. All right, the town clerk's report.
It's up on the screen.
It's on the screen, Lynn Daly, here's a copy of it. To town board members, if you all have a copy of that. That's a read it.
It is also already posted on the website.
On the website also. All right, next thing, my report, Mr. Bird's report. Yesterday I had a meeting with the Ulster County Executive, Jen Metzger, Ulster County Planning Board Chairperson, Dennis Doyle, Ulster County, well, I did also Ulster County, the Department of Traffic and Safety, which is Brian Slade, and also, who I have it, Brian Slack, and Amanda Laval, Deputy Executive, and Jen Metzger, and Eric Stewart, who's a legislator from Old Hurley North. We talked about, came out to the safety committee, and we talked about crosswalks at Old Hurley, and the corner of Zandhook, Millbrook,
Fortner.
Fortner,
And
not Fortner.
Burley.
All right, oh, they've approved.
Oh, great.
All right, and so they're just waiting for nice weather to come and they'll put it there. Now, the other crosswalk we wanted on Schoolhouse Road and Main Street is a little more tricky. And the reason being very simple is that because of the fact that there was 4 stop signs, a 4-way stop sign on the place I just mentioned, you don't need to have signage at all there. But since there's only one stop sign on Schoolhouse Road, but Main Street, there's no stop sign there. What's needed is to have a large sign declaring crosswalk. And this large sign is like the size of the door, that door behind you, like that in a sense. And you needed one on Schoolhouse Lane, you need one on the east, on Main going east and Main going west. I don't know if the Hurley Preservation Committee is going to approve that kind of fence up. But there is another option there. And the other option is this, that we were told also that Kingston City Schools, as well as Myers Elementary, can ask the town to declare the area around Myers Elementary to be a school zone, which gives it 1,500 feet. You like that to do that, which is about a quarter of a mile. And by doing so, and if we do declare that to be a school zone. All right.
I can hear you.
That's why they call me Mike. The thing is, so what basically what happens, because if we declare that a school zone, at the discretion of both Kingston City School System and Myers, we can then lower the speed limit down from 10 to 15 miles.
Yeah, I've never seen a school like that. I go by there and I'm amazed it's 30. I've never
Yeah,
seen
but
that.
here's the thing. So it's gonna be difficult to have a crosswalk
Yes.
there, a schoolhouse in Maine. But since the fact that within the 1,500 feet, we can lower the speed limit down to 10 to 15 miles on Schoolhouse Lane.
So who would work on that? Okay, the board. Great.
Yeah, we will do that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll get that going. The only problem is we now need, cops there.
So like the only question I have is we already got a letter from the principal, at the Myers School, and we submitted a resolution to lower the speed limit to 15 to make those all school zones. So I guess I'm confused what else is needed.
We have to make the school zone first. Once you declare, what we did, we tried to lower it, we didn't declare the school zone yet.
We did in the resolution,
We declared the school zone.
yes.
Well, we need to get,
Yes.
the
Yes.
principal Meyer, all right, then we can make it, then we can.
I think we can do it. I think we've already done it.
And do you know exactly where 1,500 feet is from the school? Like,
It probably goes across 209,
right.
you know, so we can make even, 209 and 15 another.
Then the cops are gonna get a lot of revenue. I want them to sit in my driveway all the time, because people do 50 on Hurley Avenue.
I know that. I know. We had a complaint on Hurley Avenue, and I spoke to Juan Figueroa, and Juan Figueroa's
Yeah,
he's gonna enforce it.
But we also have a resolution at the state level already being in review to lower all this, town roads to 25, including county roads that run through the town.
I
As
So
know.
well
we'll
as-
get lowered to 25 and then we'll use the sheriff and the state troopers to help enforce that.
That would be amazing. I'd love that. I've been wanting that for many years.
Yes, it's probably, they say it could take as much as a year and a half and
Well, 2 years.
And if you need extra help on that, I'm happy to help.
I think we're probably 7 or 8 months into it. So we're on our way.
Just a state that has to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to put it, because we're a town because we're not a city and we're not incorporated,
Therefore,
that it has to go to the state and the state has to.
Call Ms. Holcomb.
what's that?
I'll call her, Kathy.
So the other thing we talked about is Zando, putting, sidewalks or some sort of walking trail there. That's a little more difficult. We want now, on the part of this handout, the north side is the cemetery side, the south side are the houses. On the north side, they say we can put, not sidewalks, but asphalt. Make it a walking trail, shoulder, a paved shoulder. The problem they have there is they had to do ground radar to determine where the graves are. And it seems like some graves are budding out from the
Yeah.
grave.
I mean, I walk in the cemeteries. I want to walk in
Yeah.
the cemetery, but
And so he says that might be a problem. And I said, you'll have no complaints from the people. They are gonna work on it in a sense, and the thing is, like, they need 4 feet. They want to put a 36-inch pipe, drainage pipe over there, fill it in, and put asphalt, and put a pavement there. The thing is, though, what it is, it's still gonna be a shoulder where cars can still go there. But it's a lot less dangerous.
And we've advocated to the county to put in the stripes.
Stripes,
You know,
markings.
the two parallel and then the vertical in there to designate
I'm drawing.
at least the difference. I know
Right.
it's not a physical barrier, but at least to designate.
so
the
kids are
difference.
walking home from Meyer, that would be good, and that's
Yeah.
not so much too, but yeah, it's great work.
And the other thing is, the other side, on the south side, there's a ditch there and so forth. That's another problem. They want to fill that in also, but they can't put a drainage pipe there because in that ditch also below it down is the Hudson, it's
The soap is really,
Oh, the water company. Oh, down there?
Rolling Met.
Oh,
Rolling
Rolling
Meadows.
Yeah.
Rolling Meadows.
And so they said that they don't want to put a drainage over that in case there's a leak in the pipe of the water pipe. They have to break through the drainage pipe also. So the question is right now, we spoke to, Jeff Vogt, who's the
Great guy.
president.
Yeah.
Said that he wants to move it.
Yeah, they'll move
He
it.
wants to
He's
move the pipe.
best.
And the county has said they can put in the road. They can dig up the road, put it on the road, do that way. I thought that'd be a big expense on Jeff Folk, and I heard that he's willing to do that. 'Cause
He's a great guy.
He doesn't want the water pipes below the wires. Because he has to go start digging more or less. He's afraid of that kind of thing. So the county has given him approval. He wants to move it, and then they'll put a drainage pipe there
But it's in review
to review.
with our engineers now to look at it. I'm sure there's gonna be some discussion back and forth. You know, when they'll ask questions to the county engineers. But at least it's in part.
Great work.
It's gonna take a little while here more or less, but my feeling as I was talking to the big shots over in Ulster County, I think they're feeling the pinch. They're feeling the fact that they had to do something in a sense. And I feel the fact that after 10 years of complaints on people living in Danville, I think movement is gonna happen. And they're the ones making suggestions about putting both the north side and the south side at making asphalt. So that's something that we were happy to hear.
Yeah, great news.
Yeah. And
Things move slow, but we're keeping on top of them.
Thank you.
all right, I think that's done with my report. All right, we had a presentation here from Ty Lord Farmer, who is on the UC Planning Board Housing Smart Committee. community, no, it's community, not committee. It's spelled wrong here. It's Community Initiative Program, KI. And by the way, reason why I asked him to come in here, there might be developments happening in the town of Hurley. I mean, big developments going through there, so, we would like to, hear from you.
Thank you, Supervisor. And board. Are you gonna work?
Just tell me when to roll.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna try to run quickly through these here. But there might be a way to present to where you can put one down. but still-
Yeah, it's fine. Good.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Tyler Farmer. I work for the Ulster County Planning Board. We also just call it the Planning Department, but I've been in the position, I grew up in Rosedale. I've been in the position about 3 years, working on a number of different housing related programs and funding sources for the county. But one that we are working on in collaboration with all the municipalities is the Housing Smart Communities Initiative. It looks a lot like the Climate Smart Communities Initiative, which is a state program to help local municipalities with climate policy and regulations. This is more focused on Ulster County specifically and housing strategies. Scroll down.
Sure.
So we have a housing action plan. We had an advisory committee help us develop this program. And then we launched in 2022. Keep going. You can keep going. So just a brief context setting portion of this is that we all know what's happened post COVID. The surge in housing prices and what we call the housing crisis began before COVID pandemic, but has increased significantly during the pandemic and in this post-pandemic. Really, things are slowing down a little bit now, but essentially, I'm providing this context because this will help you understand where we're coming from in terms of the strategies for the program. But we're seeing an increased demand for housing. Everyone knows what the housing market looks like, or did look like, and slowing down a little bit. But there's a lot of cash offers. There's a lot of rental increases, not just in the town of Hurley, but all over. So we've got, at the same time as this increasing demand for housing, a limited supply of new housing. Generally, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but if you you don't build the supply and the demand increases, the prices are going to go up. We're seeing that happen. We've also seen, outside of supply and demand, construction costs increase considerably, and we're kind of in an uncertain environment right now about what potential federal level tariffs and other impacts might have on construction costs, but they went up during the COVID-19 pandemic. As I was talking about with that with that supply and demand of housing, we've seen a significant increase in short-term rentals as well as vacation homes, which has always been a part of Ulster County, but we're not building that new supply. Our housing stock is actually decreasing because more of those homes are being put towards short-term rentals and not long-term occupants for homeowners. Keep going. And then just another factor here, when there are projects that come up, whether they're big and they're not well thought out, or the ones that are a little bit more well thought out, it takes a long time for the approval process to happen. There are different stakeholders involved who do or don't want to see that housing happen, but it's really important to consider as a town how planning and zoning plays into that process of developing new housing from ADUs up to small subdivisions. So that development uncertainty can factor into whether a community is going to be able to attract a developer or have a homeowner build something on their property as well. So these are just all factors that we're looking at. I'm not going to run through this, but I think everyone knows why housing matters. We've all seen the increases in rental prices, and I can jump into that in a second. But if we don't have housing that can support the workforce of the community in Hurley, but also just in Ulster County in general, emergency services, teachers, restaurant workers, then there's, for lack of a better term, a hollowing out of the community where folks who grew up here can no longer afford to live here or get displaced. And so we're trying to address those issues. These are just some numbers. I can share this slideshow afterwards, with all the data sources where this is coming from. But, yeah, population, I think I'll just point out a couple things. Median household income, 85,000, around there. That generally assumes a two-person income, household. Median family size is 3.2 people. Employment rate is low, but there's likely a lot of older retirees. What's interesting here that I just pulled some data today was the median rent for an occupied unit. So if you have a rental in the town of Hurley, it's around $1,100. In terms of new units, if you'd like to move or displace and you'd like to relocate, the advertised rental units for the town of Hurley, and I think there's only 2 or 3, are upwards of $3,000 or $3,700. So, you know, this is the winter time. There's not as many rentals on the market, but I'm just showing this comparison, this kind of stark contrast of how scarce affordable rental housing is. Go down a little bit, just a couple more facts. So in general, we've seen rental costs increase about 40% over the past 10 years. 32% of owners and 45% of renters, this is actually wrong, they're spending about 30% or more of their income on housing, and that's kind of the affordability metric we use. If you have a mortgage or other housing costs, or if you have a rent and you're paying more than 30% of your income monthly on housing, you're considered cost burden, and it starts having impacts on other monthly costs that you have. So we can kind of look what percentage of the population is in that category. In 2015, the average home sale price in the town of Hurley was $213,000. 2024, it was $454,000. So you could, 113% increase over the past 9 years. We would expect 2-3% annual increase in value for a home, but over the past 3 or 4 years, we've been seeing 10, 12, 13% annual increases. And that's about it. That's just setting the picture of where we're at. So I'm just going to run through the program really quickly. You join, there's a website that you can look at, just a municipal resolution to join the program. It doesn't mean you're tied to doing anything. Just means that you're joining the program. We've got 12 municipalities in Ulster County that have joined so far. And then that gives you access to working with myself and the planning department, and we've got some consultants that you can get some support from as well, to look at various pieces of the puzzle when it comes to housing for the town. Keep going there. Yeah, so just some of the benefits of joining. We do have these consultant support grants. So once you've kind of decided, we've got a bunch of actions and strategies you can take. Once you decide as a town which strategy you kind of want to focus on, you can apply and receive consultant support for that. We've got some templates for zoning laws and things like that. We've got technical support. We have another incentive is we have a dashboard that we contract with a company to identify and observe short-term rentals in all the different municipalities for our occupancy tax. But if you join the program, you'll get access to that. Your building department will get access to that. I think this is still the case that there are no non-owner occupied short-term rentals allowed.
They're happening though.
But they're probably happening, and that's why.
I looked at one today, $1,000 a night.
Yeah, right. So part of that is enforcement is difficult because they're listing us on a website, right? And so this tool basically allows you to look in real time where are there short-term rentals in your community, especially if they're non-owner occupied and there's no registry for them. They're in violation. So you're finding out in place to implement that. I know all the towns have limited enforcement capacity, but hopefully this is a tool that will make it a lot easier to enforce your short-term rental regulation. These are the communities that have joined so far. I guess one other piece that I'll say here is when you're joining the program, we'll have a municipal resolution and then some assembly of a housing group, housing committee. It can just be the town board. I recommend it's a mix of community members, maybe a town board liaison, and someone from the planning board or zoning board just to get all the pieces of the puzzle in there. We leave it up to the towns on how they want to create that. Sometimes they do an online application, and then you can select as a committee. Sometimes someone steps forward and wants to kind of lead it. It's all up to you how you want to create that housing committee or task force. Keep going. So I'm going to jump really quickly through all the actions that you could take. We can jump back to them if you want to. Just do where you can here. So we've got 12 housing smart actions. Go down. So the first is really the only required action. All the rest of them are kind of choose your own adventure or choose what is right for your town. But we do ask that you do some sort of community outreach and education, that you join the program, that the town board is really thinking seriously about this. And we're doing some education right here, right now, but maybe something that you could broadcast to the community about joining the program. Next slide. I got short-term rental regulations. I'll mention a lot of the municipalities that join are already doing some of these actions and would get, points or credit for implementing these things. Short-term rental regulations, you have those in place. We do recommend either a percentage cap on the number of short-term rental permits that you allow, or just owner-occupied short-term rentals, which is great. That's very, we love to see it.
Do you mind me asking a question? Is it crime? I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, next one.
Sure. Oop, sorry. There you go.
Support development of accessory dwelling units. So this, I imagine you've heard about. We've got a +1 ADU program. These are grants for medium income homeowners to build an accessory dwelling unit on their property. But you need to allow them in the government code. And from my look today, I think they're still not permitted in any of the zoning districts. Without existing real property tax laws, these are tax exemptions for first-time home buyers, for veterans, for folks who are working on building more housing in the town of Hurley. You want to give them a little bit of a break on your taxes for a number of years. So that's just an adoption of resolution by the town board. Establishing rent stabilization regulations. This is the Emergency Tenant Protection Act. This doesn't really apply to the town of Hurley. So take that one. Upzoning and mandatory affordable housing. So this is kind of a really big one that a lot of the communities are interested in. This is taking a kind of comprehensive look at the zoning code and seeing where there are opportunities to allow for more housing in the right locations, the high access to services, road access and safety, all those pieces. We're doing this with the town of Olive right now. A pretty comprehensive update and the adoption in the next year or so of the zoning code. This is very similar. This is an affordable housing overlay district. So the town of Hurley does not have water or sewer districts. Is that correct?
We have some,
You have
water districts.
a water district. Okay. So looking at part of your community to say, where is it more appropriate to build housing because you have public infrastructure, and placing some requirements on bigger projects there to make sure that the number of the units are affordable, or you get a density bonus for adding more units if they're affordable. So there's different ways to create that overlay district. Streamline the development and approval process. As I was talking about this uncertainty of development, how long it takes. Some people can get a permit for a project in 3 months. Sometimes it takes 1.5 years. So some consistency in how that process works would be really helpful. So we'll help you figure that out. Housing sites inventory. This is one we're doing with the town of Shandaken right now. We're looking at all the underutilized properties, municipally owned properties, county owned properties, and then foreclosed properties to see if there are any opportunities to put money. Town site, it doesn't sound great, but doing an inventory of all the properties and identifying which potentially there are opportunities for the town. Adopt the building energy code. This one hasn't been as popular. We're trying to work on climate as well as housing. So this kind of fits those two pieces together. Establish or join a housing rehabilitation program. This would probably be something that we work together with the municipality on, or a couple different municipalities, especially, I'm not sure is the case in Hurley if there's a lot of abandoned property or foreclosed property. There's always a few. So create a housing action plan. I put this one at the end because kind of like if you've done all those other pieces, you just piece them all together and you've got a stuff a housing action plan there. So I actually recommend not starting with this because this is like to bite off, but choose top 2 or 3 things that seem appropriate for the town of Hurley, and then we move forward from there. Oh, and we just have a catch-all at the end. You got any ideas for an innovative housing solution? We'll also give you credit and help you develop that idea. Keep going. These are just, you know, the real intent is to build more housing that folks in the community can afford, but there's a kind of a rating system and homes. Again, this is all the communities that have joined. We're also going to talk to the town of Warsing, who I think will be joining and submitted the resolution to join. Keep going.
Sure.
Okay. These are the kind of bench of consultants that we have to help you with some of those bigger actions. So when you're ready, when you've got a group together, when you've decided which priorities you want to focus on, there's on the website, you can submit a form and ask for consultant support. Keep going. These are just some of the consultant projects that we've been working on. We did some education in Woodstock and as well a sites inventory. We're doing zoning in Town of Olive. We're doing a housing sites inventory in Town of Rochester. There's also the Pro Housing Community Program, which I can talk more about at some other point, but this is important to consider passing as a municipality because a lot of the state funding is now getting tied up to whether you are a pro housing community. So a lot of the Main Streets funding, lots of other programs that not just housing related programs, but recreational, economic development, grant funding is now being tied to whether pass this resolution and join the program. Similar to our program, there's no requirement that you do anything at the local level. Home rule in New York State, it's really just similar to our program saying, we're thinking about these things. And there is, the only criteria they really have is, are you building a certain number of new units of housing per year? And they want to see a little bit of an increase there. And that's kind of the threshold. That's it. Hopefully that wasn't too long.
No, that was great. Thank you.
And I'm happy to take questions.
I'm gonna be doing it tonight. If I could also have this PowerPoint on our website.
Oh, sure.
So you can look at it more or less.
It's on my list of things to do.
There's also you just search on the internet. Housing smart cities.
Yeah, but I can put this up tomorrow.
Well, maybe a link for the.
No, I'm gonna ask that, yeah. Question actually, Matt Jankowski asked a question about, can you supply us with a sample resolution?
Yeah, there's a resolution template on the website. I'll send you a link.
Can I ask you a question, even though I'm not a board member? I always hear, I think no, it's a Hurley question. I always see a Hurley estimated population of about 6,100. And of course, that's from the 2020 census, and the COVID rush upstate happened after that. Do you have a more accurate sense of population changes in Hurley?
I can get back to it. I don't want to say anything for sure.
Okay.
But, the data always lags a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I think that
Okay.
We have to actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you just give us a definition of what you call affordable housing? How do you define?
Yeah, so there's different ways to define it, but generally how the state defines it and how we define it and how the federal level defines it is, the state and our county are in sync. The federal level is a little different, but we look at the median income of a family in the town of Hurley or Ulster County as a whole. And then we say 80% of that, so just a little bit below the average, is a household that would qualify for affordable housing. For Ulster County, for a family of 3, affordable is $80,000. So that is a little bit of a shock sometimes for folks, but when we say affordable housing, I like to use the term community housing or attainable housing. But we've seen a 40% increase in the average income of Ulster County residents in the past 4 years. And so $80,000 is a good salary, could have gotten you a home maybe 10 years ago or something like that. But now that's the threshold for affordable.
So the other question, affordable 80,000 K and
it varies by household size. So it goes up and down a little bit by.
so my question really is, if somebody wants to buy a home with a
Uh-huh.
mortgage with an interest rate of 70%,
Uh,
right? How does that translate to your 30% of?
the 80%?
No, the 80,000. You
Oh,
said-
80,000 per
You said
year.
an average of 80,000.
Sure, right. Well, I don't want to get the math wrong in my head right now, but I think it's around 300,000 for a home. But the home sale price this year is now $450,000.
Right, which means that the mortgage is going to be afforded. So who are the real estate people in this?
Got one right there.
Okay, we're talking
Yeah.
about a long day. Yeah, it's really
Yeah, like,
tough right
It's
now.
tough.
like
It's really tough.
$2,500 a month.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're asking about
That's-
mortgage
yeah,
You're
payments.
looking for the
I'm-
monthly payment.
Yeah,
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 I'm more
having the
talking
down
about that.
payment, all of it.
it depends on your credit, it depends on
No,
how
I
much you have for down payment.
Yeah.
But I think, to your point though, it's not that a affordable $80,000 a year family couldn't afford that mortgage amount. It's the barrier to get to that down payment assistance and
Right.
Okay,
savings.
Yeah,
right,
down
so
payment is
Rubco,
Yeah.
where Rubco comes in.
Yeah,
Right.
Rupco comes into play, right? And I think we're working on this for the county, but how do you build units at cost that are affordable to folks who are making around 80,000? We also need rentals too. That's how we all get to home ownership, or most of us.
Yeah, and some people want to rent.
And some people want to rent. Retirees don't necessarily want to own a home after they sell theirs and having owned it for.
Europe, half the people, a lot of countries over half the population rent.
So I can get you more specific numbers there, but yeah, we want home ownership, we want rentals. The numbers look a little bit different, but
I have a question. All right, do we have to actually get into for development to happen? Do we have a contract with the developer in a sense, or if we see, for example, developing happening in town of Hurley, we can include them in the section? I'm just like,
I think you should join the program, and then
we can.
Yeah, okay, good. It really, and I suggest in this kind of housing task force, we have planning board members and we have zoning board members, at least one. Depends on the type of project. I haven't looked recently at the town zoning code aside from the ADUs. The subdivision, is it a multifamily project, is it 4 units? Really depends. Yeah.
You said you have a template, like a suggested.
We have some for ADUs. We
Right.
have, doing a kind of a zoning reform to support more housing.
Right, yeah.
That's a pretty in-depth process. That's like a year plus
Yeah.
process to do. Because you are fundamentally changing what is allowed, and you want to be careful about that. You want to support more housing, but you also want to
Yeah.
maintain the character.
Yes, like the only place we have municipal water in Old Hurley is the National Storage Registry, so it's challenging.
Yeah, there are layers.
Any other questions?
Do you mind if I ask one question? Mike, is that all right?
No.
Just when you say owner occupied, when you
Uh-huh.
talk about short-term rental, that the same as primary residence?
Yes,
Okay.
essentially.
Okay.
It's defined a little bit differently by each municipality,
Right,
but
okay.
I would talk to Supervisor Safranca in Olive, your neighbor. They've done a really good job at kind of like registry and enforcement for short-term rentals.
Yeah, I remember when they did that.
You guys use Granicus as your?
Granicus, yes, right. Yes, that's kind of, that's a bigger organization, but one of their components of the company is called Post Compliance, and it's a short-term rental platform. that a lot of the towns use now to have their social network.
Any other questions? Thank you, Kai.
Thank you very
Kai,
much.
be in
Thank
touch.
you.
Be in
Thank
touch.
you. Happy and excited to work with you all.
Thank you.
Send me a sample resolution.
Yes, yep, will do. I'm gonna head out if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
Before you go.
Thank you.
Like discussion on this? I like this.
Okay, thanks. Yep, yep.
All right, so I'll get the resolution from Kai, and I guess at next meeting, we'd like to get a member of the board to be like the liaison. We have a volunteer job. All right, so we'll discuss this, what resolution? Next board meeting, and so we'll be the liaison. Sure. Good enough. All right. I just want to get back one thing also. I was just notified today that there's a bird ban in Ulster County.
Yes.
All right, and this is what the governor Hochul has declared. The governor has declared a high fire danger risk outdoor bird ban for Ulster County and 12 other counties effective immediately. This ban prohibits outdoor fires for brush and debris disposal as well as uncontained campfires and recreational fires. Will remain in effect through the annual statewide bird ban, which begins on March 16th and continues through May 14th. The ban does not apply to 1, barbecue grills and similar outdoor cooking devices. 2, contained campfires under 3 feet high and 4 feet wide. That's good. In hibachi or fire ring. 3, agricultural waste burning on farms larger than 5 acres. Emergency burning by police or public safety agencies. Prescribed burns under 6 NYCRR, I guess it's regulation part 194 regulations. Firefighter and fire investigation training under New York State guidelines. Fires approved by the Division of Air Resources for Disease or Invasive Species Control.
The short version of that is on the town website already, but yeah, and I think I put a link into that full description. Yeah.
This came into effect because of what's happening down in Long Island right now.
Yeah.
They have a major fire down in Long Island.
And then at the end of this week, we get the annual spring burn ban anyway, so yeah. Mm.
Somebody burned in a box in their yard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next thing up here, this is the unsafe property, 84 Cedar Street. This is discussion. I have here, this is Paul Economos, has declared that house on Cedar Street. It's an abandoned house. It has a ton of oil cans and gas cans in the front of the place. It's been abandoned. There's a whole process that's going on here. And so the thing is, though, what we need to do is to actually have a resolution for a public hearing to talk about this thing and go through here. But this has been going on for quite a while. And it's in West Hurley, right? It's behind the school.
Over
there.
You live around there, don't you?
Mhm.
Do you know anything about it?
I live on the next street over, so I don't know.
Okay. I know people have come to me.
I know it's been like that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dies and then water just disappeared.
Because it's kind of catty corner, so if you go out, you can see it.
Yeah.
Are the taxes being paid on
I don't
this?
know.
Mm,
Yeah, that should be some different information.
Okay.
Resolution before you break the meeting.
I'll give
The
this-
schedule of the hearing.
Okay, we're following you. All right, so what I'll do is I'll get this to Brittany and to town clerk to see exactly what council is probably paid and not getting paid. But I visited the site recently, and it's just unbelievable. That's something like this can go on for like as many years as it has. Okay. All right, the next thing here we have is the determination for Arizona Investments, US LLC. We had a public hearing last meeting. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of those, and I noticed on there were three of these hearings, this is chapter 19. All of them, the board basically tabled issuing any decisions, so they could have further discussions and review all of the documentation that's been provided. So if you guys are prepared to make a decision tonight, you can. There's just a couple of corrections I noticed with how the resolutions, two of the resolutions have former board members' names on that, so that would need to be corrected. And then one of the resolutions, it looks like the second page of which was put the supporting documentation that is in support of that. So it looks like somehow those pages got messed up under their scan and sent back. So it's up to you guys. This is just a meeting, so you guys can, have further discussions. You guys can vote at the next, at the regular town board meeting to pass resolutions. It's really up to the board how they wish to do it.
Okay,
So what I would say, if anyone has any motions, then that we handle each of these three resolutions separately. So this is the first one that is before, and this pertains to Planning Board File 2023-16, and the applicant is Arizona Investments.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
And that motion to pass the resolution as written.
Yes. All right, so that's, all right.
This one has to be amended.
Yeah, this one has Tim's name in here accidentally.
We have, former council person there. We have to amend this to Joe Condre.
Yes.
All right, we have to make it
With amendments.
the amendment to what, to Joe Condre.
And there's a second to pass the resolution as amended.
I'll second.
Want to discuss this at all? So in other words, we are not waiving the fees, we're dismissing the fees.
Well, we're considering the amount that they paid for escrow initially to be payable.
In other words, the 2004-50 is going to be waived then, it's going to be waived.
Well, you're finding that those fees cannot be assessed due to the procedural deficiency, failing to provide monthly counsel.
First, I make an amendment to strike Tim Kelly and add Joe Condre, a town board member. Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
All right. Is there we approve on the entire board?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so Joe Condre, you're now Tim Kelly. All right, Joe,
So basically, yeah, I think there was a motion previously made to pass the resolution as amended. And then there was a second, so after discussion, is there any further discussion or do you want to take a vote?
take a vote. All right, all in favor of this resolution?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? So carried. All right, the second one here is vital meeting.
It's up there.
Let's just review, is that,
There's two of them provided with the other side.
no, I believe Rider Movie is the one in which the second page is with the supporting documentation.
But it just basically has the names.
Yeah, the other would be the You're missing it, yeah.
You're missing the voting.
You're missing the voting page, that's all.
Well, not in the board, it's like,
Over there, it's not in our.
We didn't for the other one. The other
Where's the
one.
man? Yeah, it's not. That's why I mean, if you look at the documents that were provided with the workshop meeting, there is the document that says supporting Rider Moody addendum to the determination. And
Just want to make sure I have the right one here, so just hang on. So it's this one, correct? Yes, that's the correct one, but it's missing the voting page, yes.
yeah, and that is with the addendum. So if you go to the documents that were provided to the town board, it looks like when they scanned it, they scanned the last page together with the addendum. And only.
You don't have access to, the town.
I don't.
So how do you want to handle this?
Now, I can tell you what the last page says. Be it further resolved that as the town board approval of the application is contingent upon the full payment to the town of Hurley of any and all fees and escrow deposits due in connection with this application. Once the remaining consultant fees owed of $702.50 has been paid, the planning board shall take all actions for the approval as required under the law.
So my motion for me.
And my second.
Right? Any further discussion?
All right,
In favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. So the third one is the Deborah Doyle application. This is the K with the Deborah Doyle application. Definitely.
That's it. Yep.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
So that one does have the correct name.
This is correct.
Yeah. Under 2000, okay, it was 2023.
Yeah, two, and
Yeah.
one was 2023, 16.
Well, it was 2000 wait a minute, we already had a 16, okay, I got it.
Does it make a difference though, because it should be Deborah Doyle and not Kaywood?
The application on the planning board file is actually Deborah
Yeah,
Hill.
I wrote to the,
And
so second.
Any discussion?
No, it's this one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So we all passed. The question is asked by John Perry, like, where's the money coming from?
Why don't we go to
Well,
decide what is reasonable?
Well, I gave, what is, I had given that kid Cassie all those vouchers, like, he paid the invoice. He's gonna go through that, decide what is excessive, that's okay, they're not gonna make one.
Come out of the planning board account.
Well, the thing is, it's attorney's fees, which are John Lyons, we have issues with them. To solve it.
No, I'm saying after we look at the whole thing and decide. There are fees that
There are
need to be
fees
paid.
you pay to a consultant, will have to come out of the H40 account, which is the, planning board account. But the things are, what we can try to do is negotiate with consultants, you know, showing them.
Once we go through.
I mean, the thing is that we've made motions, we've accepted, so we have to solve a problem in terms of finance.
Well, the finance issue is separate and distinct. This is just whether the town can bill citizens who have presented applications without providing them with the monthly escrow statements as required. Whereas dealing with whether those are reasonable and necessary, that's something that we are dealing with the consultants themselves.
The thing is, though, with the Ryder movie, the 705, that was, the invoice to them, was time. It was within months, so therefore, that's 705, you're expecting payment from, but then we pay for that.
And that's what the addendum is, those invoices which were received in December, and then the monthly statement was given in January.
So remember, at that time, in fact, the December one wasn't, the January was time, so, we're not going to.
Yeah, I understand.
All right. The next one is, I have it here.
Well, that's great, but this one. What about,
I mean,
That's this one, that's this one. That's the EMS one.
yeah, so
So
mine
this
had,
is missing, so it's either a resolution and it's not in there.
You looking for the financial disclosure form one?
Yes, you have that.
That's up on the screen.
No, that's actually not. It looks like when
It's
they
the
were,
wrong-
there was this different financial disclosure that's in our packet,
Okay.
that was on the shared drive.
Oh, I see, I got it.
And it looks like somehow that got cut out when they were printing, so then we only have the front of that, and then we have this next. one.
Okay.
So again. And I think it was the financial disclosure one posted at the last meeting.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So if you can pull up the last meeting.
The last meeting, let me see.
Is that the one that-
Tell me if this is the right one, Matt.
That is correct.
Yeah, why don't we just do that while
Yeah, I
we're
don't
looking
actually
for the other one?
see, is the financial disclosure one even on? Yeah. that's right. Okay.
Which one do you want up?
Last on the list.
The one that was previously up,
That one.
but, it definitely, as it's written up there, you need to amend it to cross out, the wording under Town of Hurley, where it says resolution to amend the annual financial disclosure form. Oh, no, that
No,
is,
that's correct.
that's the correct.
one.
Yeah,
This
go
is the
back
cor-
to the original one that you had.
Sure, give me a second. That's that one.
All right, that one, like, on the Town of Hurley, just cross that out. This is to amend and the financial disclosure. That's all.
Right, because this is a different resolution. Okay.
All right,
Yeah, this
what
is,
this is basically, and this is something that's kind of disturbing.
this is
There
correct.
is a $5 million monies given for EMS service for all the towns and villages in Alton County. Our share was $191,200. And so what happened basically was they went in front of the committee on finance and health in Ulster County, and they voted it down. They voted the whole thing down, the whole thing down. Right, and I spoke to a bunch of legislators and a lot of supervisors, and what it turns out that involves Hurley. Some reason, one of the legislators thought that we were gonna use that money to build a garage. Which is like, where that notion came from, I don't know. You know, and because of that, and then it turns out that maybe other towns would do the same thing, also build something else other than EMS, it was turned down. It's gonna be, it was defeated, and then it was tabled for the next, town, for the next, Ulster County legislator, which I plan on being there.
When is that meeting?
It's in April. I will find out what that meeting is. You know, and I will be there to, ask questions about this. Every supervisor in Ulster County has approved this resolution. And we need to follow through it and approve this resolution.
They can follow up and make sure you guys aren't spending it on something that
So easy.
it's not.
Yeah, they can.
It does, I don't quite understand the, where they are thinking like that. And I just gotta get-
Well, that would be a good question. You can ask somebody.
Yeah. Would show up at the meeting.
Yes. So so this resolution here basically is in compliance with basically all the towns and villages in Ulster County.
Basically expressing that this town supports them passing that legislation.
Okay.
All right, I motion.
I'll second.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I will notify the Association of Supervisors down of, Ulster County, that we approve that. And, next one is Library Board Volunteer. I think that's, Joe, we talked about that.
We talked about that last time. Could have been a record.
Did you call it in for resolution?
I talked to somebody else.
All right, so what we'll do basically is, we'll just have it for next week for meeting. You know, through the- you want to do any kind of discussion update, town board
I
about it?
know, pretty much. Rather than go at where we're at.
You guys
It's
can
really
go
up, it's really up to the board.
Okay, but obviously you two have to be refused, right?
Right.
Is on the library board, so it's us three.
Right.
Yeah.
Up to.
Okay. All right, so we'll discuss this at the resolution, formula it on next board meeting. You want to talk about the annual financial disclosure? Or-
I know this was discussed at the last meeting, that, there's a proposed new form for the annual financial disclosures that are submitted for town employees and officials listed in our ethics statute. This new form is compliant with the state requirements under the general municipal law, and that's why it is being submitted to be adopted.
This is the, right here,
This is the one from the last meeting packet,
that's the
Matthew.
resolution.
Yes.
But this is the active package. That's in the package.
Sure.
So we can actually vote on this at the end.
You can vote now, you can vote at the next board meeting. This is just an agenda meeting, so it's a good place to discuss everything, and there's no reason why you can't, if you don't want to vote on a resolution, wait till that.
Here, this first page, yeah, I did it. This first page here is the old one.
Right.
This is what we've been doing for the past, and what, I know, don't you have some questions, guys?
Well-
That's on the phone, all right? You want to comment on this at all?
Not now, because I want to read that. The original form was extremely, I don't have any conflict of interest. Is that the one you're
Right,
talking
that's
about?
the original one.
That's the original one. I thought that was only for volunteers. That's because we used to sign it as volunteers. Now, this new form that I was sent by Samara, is quite detailed
That's it.
and quite sensitive. So, that is required by state law?
Yeah, Article 18 of General Municipal Law, which is what the article that empowers us to create our own local ethics statute. If we did not have a local ethics statute, the elected officials and other officials who are appointed would be subject to the Ulster County's Ethics Board, which does use a form that is, again, compliant with the state requirements and has pretty much the same exact question. So I can tell you from my own experience working for both the county and the city of Kingston that the same form is required for both of those jurisdictions. And
This is for elected officials, employees,
Well,
and volunteers?
our statute specifically lists which positions are required to fill that. There are some that are statutorily required elected officials. But in addition to that, our statute, we can list certain employees and other officials. And our statute does have a comprehensive list, and it also does allow for you guys to pass by resolution any additional positions that you might think should fill out the forms, but aren't listed in the statute. So I would advise, I believe I sent you guys the article, the general municipal law last time. But I would also advise that you view our local statute as well, and then you can vote on this at the regular town board meetings.
So I reviewed it, and my concerns always, I don't have any concerns.
So this is something like, eventually it's gonna come to you,
Right.
with the chair of the
And
ethics
my
committee.
committee, yeah.
Right, so,
So once this is passed, and I need contact, or we'll set up a time.
right,
Do you want a liaison to our committee?
sure. We can do that.
You know, the only concern that I had that initially was, I can understand why this form was used, because the way our administrative structures are, there is a little less security, to start divulging sensitive information.
That's my concern.
Of
Yeah,
course.
that is
and-
my absolute concern.
Of course, and who's going to be the repository of this information? We don't have a structure really that is secure.
Well, basically, you would go to the clerk, town clerk.
Again, the issue about security comes up, there's not a vault, there's not a way to ensure that there's security. And you've learned that there have been, areas where there have been violations of people just accessing documents. Even after we've discussed it and talked about sensitivity of these documents, I think what needs to happen if we move forward, or when we move forward with this ethics disclosure document, that each one of these, job descriptions needs to have some confidentiality clause built into it.
Well, here's the thing. According to the New York State Open Meetings Law, that it's confidentiality for employees, for elected officials, it's not confidentiality. In other words, we can write down confidential, personal confidential,
Well, that's a job description.
but I know that, but I'm just saying though, but according to New York State law, Open Meetings Law, we elected officials, we have no confidentiality. In other words, if somebody wants to foil these requests, these.
Yeah. And remember the list of people that Matt talked about is extensive. It's almost everybody in the town.
It's a tap, it's a invite.
And if you're going to issue this form to almost everybody in the town, two things need to happen. They need to be very clear on what they're signing, which means that we have to have an education, some kind of education plan or program going forward. And the other thing is that I think each one, once they sign an ethics disclosure form like this, there should be something in their job description that binds them in some way, shape, or form to what they have to disclose. And that has to do with confidentiality. You don't want people who are clerks or whoever else in that office to have access and not accountable.
That was my concern.
Yes.
Who is going to have this? That's why I spoke with you. Okay, of course, it is quite detailed.
Yeah.
It's not
a lot.
something that should be public. I'm sorry.
So
You know,
what I would say is, it would be very important for you to sit down with me at some point. We can go through the form. We can
Okay.
discuss the different questions. I can explain to you, what is subject to FOIL, what kind of information might fall under the privacy exemption of FOIL. But as a whole, generally, information in financial disclosures is public information. And once we go through, hopefully I'll be able to answer any questions that you have, and you'll be a little bit more comfortable, because every municipality in the state
uncomfortable, you
is
know.
required
Yeah.
to have this form.
And I understand why.
yeah.
Okay, but you want to keep it confidential
Mhm.
as
Yeah,
best you
it's
can.
not something that we generally are going to be posting publicly. I'm looking at our statute right here, and strictly our statute says that maintenance of these forms, basically that the clerk will transmit them to the ethics board, but it doesn't say how they are kept after the ethics board comes into possession of them. What I would say, the ethics board is able to make its own internal rules and regs, and should probably create something to that effect that says, once, when we take them out for review, or when they're not being reviewed, that they shall be kept in like the secure vaults and shall not leave, town property, town hall, or something like that.
Absolutely. And it should be on a computer, right?
Should be what?
Nothing should be on a computer, am I correct? You will be scanning these in files, because the computer can be broken.
What was the question?
Scanning it in on a computer, doing that in town hall.
I would not recommend that.
Because it can be a computer.
I
can be
definitely
hacked.
would not recommend
Okay.
that. I know most jurisdictions I'm aware of keep the hard copy with the ethics board files, and that will be either in a vault or other secure location.
That was my other concern.
I would recommend then, to Joan's point, is that we figure a way to make sure that this data is held securely. And the people who have access to this data are limited and well defined. So I don't know if that means, I think that means, some kind of resolution that goes with this to ensure some kind of levels of privacy in terms of who can access the information so, I mean,
Why don't we sit down sometime?
Yeah, we should do that.
And take it down.
And ask for other town to do it. If every town has to do it, what are they doing? Well, it must be, you're the only one.
I know. Well, what's happening basically, they had to do this.
But everybody's got to do it.
Yes.
So there should be something, somebody's
But
already doing
again,
something the right
this is the
way.
first time that we actually have gotten direction that this must be done, so the other town. So in a sense, they're all in the same boat as we are.
No, most other towns I'm aware of have been doing this for quite some time.
Right, so they.
And that these files are, when they're submitted to the town clerks, they're kept in a vault, they're kept secure. The ethics board will retrieve them when needed, and when the ethics boards, basically, they keep the files in the secure vault. So when the ethics board is done using them and reviewing them, it goes back and stays in the secure vault.
So the March 27th, we're having an employee meeting. We want to establish some type of application at that point. We will have an hour in which we can discuss this at that meeting.
Well, I mean, the education that we're talking about is to staff.
That's what I'm referring to. We have a meeting on March 27th that we're bringing all the staff members into town hall to discuss things that are going on.
Okay.
Tamara sent out a note about it.
Yes, yes.
So you'll have your town board meeting on Tuesday, that Thursday. We'll have.
Thursday, we'll have it.
So, we have a, Vision will be there going over all of, all the procedures and things like that.
Those are
With the handbook. So we're gonna be doing this very strategically, so everybody's on par with what we're trying to do.
Well, we are updating the handbook.
I mean, I haven't seen it.
No, we gave it to us.
So,
Visions.
to your point, so this would be separate than with volunteers, right?
Correct.
So we need to also get volunteers involved in some kind of education program so that they understand John's point, when people are volunteering for these things, what they have to disclose and why and all.
Normally, when those types of forms would be filled out in the clerk's office, and the clerk can give them that advice while they're filling it out.
And will the volunteers be the same caliber of that, require the same form?
It's the same exact form, and just so that you are aware, I'm looking at section 17.7 of our code. The only volunteer boards that are required to fill this out are the ethics board members, the planning board members, zoning board of appeals members, and the board of assessment review members.
All right.
No other committees are required under our statute to fill that out.
But I still would want that simple form for the rest of the things. You don't
Yeah, there's
fill it out.
no requirement for them to fill out anything,
Right,
but that would
yes.
make sense. You guys can pass a
And that we
resolution.
did for years. It's only the last 2 or 3 years that we've seen that.
All right, so Greg, you now sit down.
Yeah.
What I want to pass around now is this is the warrants from Highway Department. This is for January and for February, what has been spent by the Highway Department. It's not in the packet.
It's not in the packet.
Basically what you asked for, like, dealing with what's being sent out by the Highway Department. Okay.
Yes, so maybe just the back of the problem that we've been having is that we don't have the accounts. We don't know what is left in the account after expenditures have been made. Town board is not privy to that information on a week by week basis until the end of the month. So we don't know what the balances are until we wait until everything is reconciled at the end of the month. So we're trying to set up a system where we at least see what's going on in each one of these accounts as the month progresses.
And John Perry actually on the thousand.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I have one question about that. Is this all right time to talk about this? Okay,
I'm an
so
open book.
the RBT, balance on the RBT,
It's a negative.
how is this possible? What is this going? I don't understand.
Well, RBT right now, they were doing the AFR.
Yeah,
We hired them to do the AFR because, at that point, Jim Quigley, who was doing it, you know, had a bow out, so we had to get them to come and do that. And they spent, countless number of hours there, and this is the Bill's fund coming to.
so the question, so what needs to come before the board now is a resolution to reconcile that,
Yes.
right? This is exactly why we need to have this information on the documents.
So in the past, the RBT came out of the supervisor's line. Right now, we're currently taking out of the accounting line. So that's the biggest change, is that we're removing it from his line and putting it into. So that's why that money's weren't there budgeting wise.
Right.
So, and not knowing exactly what we're doing with RBT, To budget for it was kind of almost impossible.
So we are gonna correct that.
So the negative factor actually started in January because the finalizations of 23 went into our 25 budget. So we're roughly at $1,600. So that's when we already started bringing that.
Yeah.
Now we're.
So we're gonna take it.
So
It's absolutely essential that we figure a way to get these things.
so the other way you look at it too is as we draw from that, we'll have better ability to budget better for next year.
Exactly. And I want to just say publicly that I'm really appreciative of the hard work that you did to get those numbers on each one.
Okay,
Thank you.
So John, you, then take a look at reconciliation. I have the monies in other accounts that we can go from.
let's figure that out.
Okay. So we'll have that, very shortly. Again, because this is unexpected.
Yeah.
In this sense. Okay,
Public comment.
Maybe you could just put a double in the right stuff.
Just keeping you honest.
So some of the things that's going on with the rec, the summer fund grants are in final approvals. So as of right now, it looks pretty good for the 5,000 to offset some of those costs. I have moved forward and I did get $1,000 from Bank of Greene County, and it looks like hopefully Marshall and Sterling is also going to give some money towards senior bus trips. So as of right now, I have the 4,500 they requested, but if Marshall and Sterling comes in and the actual funds. The West Hurley Park, looks like I'm going to come in front of the board. We have signs that we'd like to redo in front of the park on Dove Hill. So I have some renderings of that. The highway is gonna, when me and Mike have been talking, we're gonna start the trenching. I just gotta figure out some of the electric and conduit and stuff that's gonna be laid, whether it be through an electrician or if we can have town highways actually do that. I'm dealing with the building department right now. The bathrooms and kitchen will be open in early to mid-April. Once the water's on, all my bids will go out now for the other contractors to establish the water and water fountain and the water filtration that we're going to be potentially going up there. Senior soups, this will be our last month. So this tomorrow and then following two Wednesdays from now, that'll be our last. It's been a success. I think everybody here, I know a bunch of folks here are coming. So,
What kind?
huh?
Tell what kind?
Chicken minestrone, and what's the other?
Actually, I don't know.
Root something.
I have it.
Chicken minestrone and, something root vegetable.
Wait. Here it is. It is chicken minestrone and red lentil with root vegetables. The latter is vegetarian.
And then there's one thing that I do have to bring up. There's a situation now. The state is requiring AEDs potentially at parks. We do not have a secured area where somebody could just be able to get in to get an AED. I don't particularly think we should put AED out in the open. So one of the other options, then, all of our youth groups that utilize the field have to provide their own AED. So this is something that I'm implementing that I've already requested. Most of them have already gone out for grants. So those youth groups, as of right now, we should be covered that we utilize in the park. But it's something potentially that maybe we want to put one in the kitchen that we can lock up. So there's an opportunity for a grant to come along. I think we can look into.
I do want to say something about the park also. This is what John is doing with the park right now. We have gotten funding for some of the work that John's been doing. We have actually the funding is $160,000. $160,000. We have supplied 80,000. The county has supplied 80,000 also. We are allowed to take 25% of it, which is 20,000, and use it for work of kind. And that's where Mike Schultz, his highway department, is going to go in and do this work. And in fact, we just put in $60,000 share.
Yeah, we just transferred over the all day.
We won't transfer it into the park rotation. And basically what we'll do, we have allowed to change what was previously asked for. We can do other things with the money and so we are going to.
So other than that, we currently have softball, flag football, so spring softball, baseball, and flag football in the fall. So yep, so softball. So I'll be working on the field, getting your team ready for that, and then should move forward. So hopefully we'll have some,
Yeah. I just have one update on the reach aid. I know you guys don't hear about this.
No, we don't.
You want to hear about
But
it.
it's a good thing. It's a good one. It's a good one. It turns out Kingston is gonna come up tomorrow. I got no, Patrick. Kingston's coming to us to sample our leachate, and they're gonna measure how, or what the leachate is, 10,000 gallon tank, and see exactly if they can accept it. If it doesn't bring their level beyond the maximum.
We're gonna take for the,
Kingston.
that's.
Well,
See, you did want to hear about it.
We're gonna do it ourselves. And we press 750. They're gonna do it. Right, so, yeah, so like, I very appreciate Steve Lobo and Alan Mitchell for, doing this kind of thing. And,
you hear back from the grant?
the grant, it's, you got a letter from a grant.
Well on track.
We're on track. It's a funny thing because when they gave us the letter, they said that we have been approved for qualifying.
Wow.
Which is like, I didn't know what that meant, approved for qualifying for the grant. Does that mean we're getting it, or does it mean that?
Basically, yes.
We're approved pending some further documents that will need to be signed.
Well, it's going,
Everything's moving in the right direction at the right speed. Hopefully.
well, not at the right speed,
Wow.
not at the right speed.
At the normal speed for the.
Nothing that we can do. City about.
Well, they said that, by May or June, they will have final determination. So maybe, we may go beyond the qualifying stage, maybe the next qualifying stage.
Applications.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got this letter, I actually asked him, I agreed this, that you could get it right, and I asked Matt, and that, we were just responding.
Oh, yeah.
No, I explained to them that it's not an approval, but it is a qualification saying that once you submit, they review these additional things. So, we're on the track for approval.
And the last thing is, y'all were looking for the legislative meeting.
Yes.
It's April 15, 7 PM, and it's in the sixth floor.
6 months.
Any updates on the damage construction project?
Yeah, we did that.
Before you came in.
What time's the meeting?
That would be 7 p.m.
I would like, if you all can be there.
Yeah.
I think we need to be there because, we were singled out.
Place,
Oh, no, right.
one
Oh.
or two.
Sitting.
Yeah, I think you guys should nominate one or two members of the board to be there to represent.
I nominate myself.
And I think that's not.
I will be there. I will be there.
Well, as the liaison, I agree.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So we have two nominations.
So,
Diane, you had something?
Yeah, I got two things. Social Security Office that's at 335 Main Street in Poughkeepsie is going to be closing July 25th for good. Now, Kingston, we lost ours decades ago, 15 years.
15 years.
White Plains is also on the list to close. They would now want us to go to Middletown or up to Glens Falls. So they had a rally last week in front of it, but they're doing a vigil every Friday night in March. So it's March 14th, March 21st, March 28th, from 7 to 9 in front of that building
The one in, Poughkeepsie?
in Poughkeepsie to try to keep it open. And I'm going to have a resolution in the next meeting that we'll give to Pat Ryan, because he's the one who's championing trying to keep this thing going. But that is just horrendous. There are times that you have to go see a person, because you can't do it online. And they already are cutting their staff by 14%. They have a 1%. They only use 1% of their overhead. There's no fraud going on or high cost of security. Everybody should really keep watch on it and make sure that you do everything you can to make your voice be heard. That we do not want that office to close.
And what's the date of the closing?
July 25th, 2025. The other thing is there's a Castle Point VA hospital in Wappingers Falls. They're closing the 20 critical care beds for the VA. Ulster County VA use those same 20 beds because we don't have anything in Oakland County. So by closing those, and they're not sending to another VA hospital, they want them to go to just a community hospital. It's very bad because VAs are very specific injuries, very specific illnesses that you need to be a VA to understand it. So for them not to have anywhere to go is going to be horrendous. So there'll be a resolution at the next meeting for that as well. So because that also affects Ulster County because we don't have anything we were using. They were sending them to that hospital.
And I can say, having worked in hospitals and as a nurse, we depend on those VA hospitals for the veterans because we don't even have enough room for the community patients. So it's been a challenge. There's no social workers available. There's no home teams to work with them in the hospital setting. That's the VA is the only place they can provide those services.
Right, they actually wanted letters from people, so I gotta come up with, they were supposed to give me an address for people to send letters to, so I will provide that next time too. They said letters to the VA agency and what works, not just rallies. We did have a rally, but, they wanted personal letters from people. But I will,
Telephone calls work too.
huh?
When you call, that works.
Yeah.
If one person calls, they figure it's 50 to 1. So it does
Two
work.
very important things going on for.
Anything else? Joe?
I
I know.
Did you want to bring that up? Okay, that, the EMS, so I have one thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Matthew Cerny, President of Early Ambulance Service Incorporated. Late this afternoon, I received from Terry Hannigan, draft, contract that you've been expecting. I know Matt got it, as well, like 5 o'clock this afternoon.
I will review.
So hopefully next week or so, maybe we can get together and, discuss it so we can keep the process moving along.
That sounds good.
Perfect.
Good, thank you.
I'm trying to look up that EMS.
We have,
Who do we want?
Oh. Oh,
It's not
it's my-
people's fault.
Yeah.
all right, anything further discussion? Anything?
Mike wants to say something.
Clear up a few things.
First off, I just wanted to give you an update on the trucks that we're getting out of Canada. That should be delivered before the 1st of April, so it should be okay there. The plows and the truck bodies too. So we're beating the tariffs. One truck is getting built as we speak. We gotta get down there and go through with the builder in Elmville. So that's on track. So we're doing good there. I got a preliminary drainage map for Joy's Lane today. We still have a couple of little things to work out in it, but what I want to do is get approval from the board to go ahead and order all the pipe and the catch basins for this project and for Arnold Drive before the price increase goes. So Dennis and I were putting together the list of what we had to get. I talked to our supplier today for the state bid, and they'll hold that price for us another month or so, but I'd like to get it ordered right away. So we get the order in and get it back, so we have it in stock.
You get that into us, with a voucher, in the next meeting, we can do that. Is that too soon?
I just need your guys' okay so that I can go ahead and order it. So when the voucher does come, it can go through 14H.
Well, this is actually, coming from stormwater.
Oh,
And we're gonna do the work to save the town money, but the supplies have to come out of 14H. We'll supply all the labor and equipment. So, and we're gonna start that project hopefully next week.
Which one? So what, I mean, like I said, we
He
need
just need approval from the town board.
Joy's Lane.
To order
now how much are we talking?
Oh,
If you can give the invoice.
I don't know, maybe $18,000, $20,000. I haven't put pen to paper yet, Joe, so when I do that, I'd like to get going on it to make sure that we get it in and beat the price increases, that's all.
When's the price, when do you need it by? When do you need the voucher signed and everything?
Well, if I order it now, we're not gonna get it for over a month.
He needs the approval to order it.
Yes.
Yeah, I want the approval to order it. And I can probably, if you give me the verbal amount, I can get you, an email with the cost of what it's gonna be the next couple days. I should be able to work on that, maybe even tonight. The only thing I don't know about is the price on the catch basins, but I got an email for the,
It's a voucher. It's just a voucher.
Then why do you need our approval?
No, all you have to do is, well, the thing is,
I just want to make sure the board is aware of what we're gonna do and that we get this stuff in there. I don't want to go out and blindly do it and then, put a voucher in for this. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page, so that
you submit the voucher.
Yeah.
And,
there's not gonna be any voucher until they deliver the product.
Yeah,
Right, you have to order it and then you're gonna just do it. That's all.
yeah,
As long
because
as
you
the
said,
board knows that I'm gonna order it.
you said you needed our approval, and I'm trying to understand why.
Well, it's coming out of 14H. I don't have the authority to spend that money unless the board says so.
So is it by resolution?
no, it's a voucher. In other words, he's gonna submit a voucher for the catching. We're
I just
gonna
want-
sign it. So I didn't
Just
get
a
it.
line.
Yeah, I just want verbal approval that I can go ahead and order.
You review the plans for the Joyce Lane? You reviewed the plans for Joyce Lane?
Did I review them?
Yeah.
We went over the preliminary plans today.
That's what you were doing today, so, and you feel comfortable doing that job, you in-house?
Yeah.
All right, so you have to approve the job, and then
Yes.
what comes with the job is you go out and buy the materials. You guys approve.
What
the
we do
job.
basically, if we need a resolution to approve George Lane and on the drive.
I'm not gonna have the plans for Arnold Drive
That's
for,
exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what you would
I'm
do.
not gonna have the plans for Arnold Drive for a month or so yet, but I just, if we can beat the price increases, we're gonna save that much more money.
Resolution of the next board meeting?
I'm very concerned about what the economy is gonna do with all the tariffs and what this trade war and.
Can we pass a resolution at the next board meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I'll get you the price on that, the next board.
We'll hold
meeting
it for
is-
25th. He said he'll hold it for a month.
Okay.
That's gonna be the 25th of this month.
And I'll get all the information to you, before that meeting. The other thing I wanted to state in public was there was an article in the paper today, and it was full of misinformation stating that the highway superintendent, myself, and the highway department, was negligent in work at the closed transfer station or the closed landfill. I want to make it very clear in public that the highway department was never involved in the landfill doing any work up there whatsoever. And I'm going to contact the writer of that article and make them print the retraction. But just so the public knows, the highway department was not involved, nor did we ever do any work at the closed landfill. That was all done through previous administrations and contractors that they put out the bid. So I just want to make that clear and state that in public.
What paper is that from?
Valley One.
Hold on a second. All right, we're done now, right? I make a motion to open public comment number 2. So the second by Debbie. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, I'm Bill Heinitz, I'm a commissioner with West Hurley Fire District. And I just want to thank the board for facilitating our tax monies very, expeditiously this year. It really helped as a young board. We had, 3 new commissioners, and now we're really understanding what monies we have to do the projects we need to do, and also to fund our capital reserve. I just want to say thank you.
And you want
It's very helpful.
You guys.
And we're gonna try to start making the hall look a little nicer. We're gonna do some updates. Now we know what money we have and what we can do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it.
Anyone else?
Wendy Trojak, 37 Arnold Drive. I am here as a taxpayer, and I am also here as an employee of the town of Hurley. I sent all of you an email today. I know it was late, but there are some problems that really need to be addressed. It seems to be the only way I can get things done is to come to a town meeting and speak publicly, so that's what I'm doing. One of them, I feel that the town board should elect a representative of the town board to quarterly review the payroll. The payroll is currently not being reviewed by anybody except myself and Mike Bombs, and there are issues with the payroll. We have inconsistencies on what people should be paid. We have inconsistencies on what our labor representative is telling us versus what our union representative is telling us, and it is making the job very frustrating. So I'm asking that someone be elected to at least meet quarterly and review the payroll. I don't know if this has ever been done, but no one from the board signs off on the payroll except for Mike. I really think it should be hosted. I have extensive experience in payroll. I did it for 17 years at the county, and I know what could be being done, and it's not being done at the town of Hurley. The other problem is Mike and John did take care of this problem today, but there is an issue with the way the vouchers are being processed. Bills are coming in that aren't signed off on, aren't approved. I don't know what they're for. For instance, we had a Herzog's bill that was $600 last month and $700 this month. That's a lot of money without knowing where it's going. They did take care of it today, but in the future, I'm asking that if expenses are being done on credit or places like Herzog's Lowe's, we need to know what they are for. Because it is very hard on the accounting side to try and figure out where to credit it if I don't know what project it is for. I'm not picking on people. I'm not trying to piss people off, which apparently I managed to do today. However, I'm asking people to do their job. And that is, please write down what you did. Please make sure you have approval. In the last week, we've ordered 3 new chairs in the town hall. There are a ton of chairs in that town hall. Why are we ordering 3 new ones? Didn't see it approved, didn't see it asked for at any of the meetings. I go through the minutes. It's not there.
Don't they have their own?
They have their own accounts.
They have their own budget, but those chairs were then used in the town clerk's office. So that is the court purchasing a chair and then giving it to another department. How is that acceptable? I mean, there are just things that are going on, and from a taxpayer, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty depressed because I'm the one who sees the money come in and out. Things have to be fixed. I know it's on a low scale, depending on what you guys are doing. I know you're trying to handle big projects. I realize all of that, but if you don't start small, you will not fix the big problem. I'm trying, but it's really frustrating. I did not sleep all night last night because we have a lot of problems to fix. So I'm,
What we have here right now, both John and I worked on this today, and this is what you wanted from the Herzog.
yes, I want it every month.
Well, no, here's what's going on. What John had to do right now, to look at everything that's being brought in, is it's called a part of the question I thought this would come from. So that's what we did today. We got
Right, and I greatly appreciate it, but no one would have looked seriously at that Herzog's bill, maybe John, if I didn't bring it to the attention. Like, this is my job. There are things going on that no one's paying attention to. I see it. I'm there every day. I'm there early in the morning and I'm there late at night when nobody's there. So I believe I have really good eyes of what's going on. So I'm just asking for some help. I'm asking for someone, please, to just pop into the accounting office and say, hey, what's going on? What's new? You know, I've asked before. I know you guys are volunteers. I know you don't get, well, not volunteers, but I know you don't get paid a lot. I know you have full-time jobs. I get it. But I'm really asking that someone take some time and see what's going on so we can get it under control and we can do better for all of the taxpayers and the town overall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendy, I do have a question for you. Wendy, I do have a question. So you're stating that the court bought chairs and then gave those new chairs to the clerk, or they give the old chairs to the clerk?
There's a brand new chair sitting in the clerk's
No,
office. I don't know where it came from.
No, what it was, they bought a chair, for Kathy, not for Kathy, for the clerk, for the, judge. And the judge preferred Kathy's chair.
But they just bought another chair.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But they have, yeah.
And
They
I
have-
understand they have their own money. I get that. But it is still taxpayer funds.
Yeah, but I don't know that we don't have any control over
We
that
can
fund.
control a little bit of what.
Well, we
the court is
control,
doing.
no, we control their purse strings, how they spend it. I don't control that.
Right, we can tell them how much money they have, but we can't tell them, you can't buy that chair. They make that decision as long as they're within their budget.
I just
If
think,
if they choose to give that to somebody else,
I think that's poor management, but if that's the case, that's fine.
Their hands are tied, you know, they can't,
Yeah.
the court, it's a totally different entity.
I mean, we don't have, well,
I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about the,
Definitely.
that's that, not me.
Utilizing. like that, I think it can't be so, we definitely need to just look into what these purchases are, particularly when purchases are being made on town cards at Lowe's or other things. That needs to be reviewed on a monthly basis, and that needs to be clarified. To make her
I
judge.
mean, it takes on average, I will tell you, and Stephanie can back me up because she helps me with it. It takes on average 3 to 4 hours to reconcile the monthly use of them. That is chasing down receipts, trying to figure out where the receipts came from, what line, what is going on, why are we purchasing this? Why are we purchasing this for this price? It shouldn't be that way. We didn't have to do that at the council.
Had to not have to do with money, everybody had their own.
Yes, every department would report what they were purchasing after it was approved.
all right.
I mean, I'm chasing down receipts, I'm spending
Would you
hours
do me
trying to
a favor,
reconcile.
would you do me a favor, Wendy, would you, write a procedure down that we can give to every person in all the departments, that they must follow this?
Well, it's not as simple as that.
Yeah.
The town needs
That's-
a financial procedures man. That's what the town needs,
We really do.
because that's what she's talking about. here.
That's exactly it.
Well, there should be no purchasing on the credit card. What's happening right now should not be happening at the level in which it should be.
Thank you.
Samara should have the card. If you want something, you can come to Samara. Samara can then make the charges. Otherwise, that card never left my office.
Did you guys,
And it should-
There's nobody, so these charges are, I've never seen this many charges from a charge card. You can't wait till next month, so you gotta put a voucher in, then obviously there's something else wrong there,
Thank you.
so.
I could just read it on her. The town has a policy where we're supposed to purchase by purchase order. Purchase order and a purchase order book. So everything should be written in that book for that purchase order. And then anything over $100, I have requisition forms that have to fill out. I go 100. And if I'm not there, I'll give them phone approvals, but it's always what they need, not what they want. And they know that they have to get those rec forms in and also have the PO for every purchase. I don't think you guys do PO at town hall. And there should be, that's our rule in our book, is that purchase orders are supposed to be used for a purchase. Simple process that can get back on track and works well.
anybody else wish to say something?
Close public.
7:30?
Close public comment.
All right.
7:40.
I make a motion to, close public comment number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make another motion to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.